In the city of Seattle, Washington, there exists a vending machine that over the years has become something of a local landmark amongst residents who are familiar with its mysterious history. Situated on the corner of John Street and 10th Avenue East in the bustling Capitol Hill neighborhood, the seemingly ancient machine is well known for dispensing random, sometimes rare cans of soda, a fact that's made all the more intriguing when you consider that nobody seems to know who stocks the machine or where it indeed came from. Covered in Coca-Cola livery and a smattering of graffiti, the machine's most notable feature, other than its age, is the fact that there's no option to order a specific drink from it. Instead, after putting the requisite amount of change into the machine, you are given the option of pressing one of 6 buttons, each of which sports an apparently custom-made and heavily faded label that simply reads, "Mystery." Pressing one of these buttons will then cause the machine to spit out a random can of cola. Exactly how many different kinds of soda are stored inside of the machine at any one time isn't known, and there are reports of people dropping tens of dollars into it at once in an attempt to discern what, if any, pattern there is to the kind of soda being dispensed. The result is invariably that the person walks away with dozens of cans of weird-tasting soda, but no answer. What makes the whole thing weirder is that a small percentage of the sodas that the machine dispenses are incredibly rare, if not otherwise impossible to acquire via conventional means due to them being discontinued or only being available for sale outside of the United States. For example, people using the machine are known to have walked away with cans of soda that haven't existed or been popular since the 1980s. This includes things like Lemon Lime Slice and Pepsi AM, or obscure drinks like Diet Hubba Bubba Bubblegum Soda and even bacon-infused Coca-Cola. It doesn't sound good at all. There are even rumors that people have gotten cans of Crystal Pepsi from the machine. As if all of this wasn't unusual enough, the machine has also been known to sometimes spit out otherwise normal brands of soda, but the cans sport vintage livery that hasn't been used in decades. To date, the only real common thread between the cans dispensed by the machine anyone has ever noticed is that it only ever seems to contain brand name soda produced by either Coca-Cola or by Pepsi. Curiously, despite being targeted by countless vandals and irate customers over the years, the machine has a propensity to eat bills particularly, but also sometimes change. Seattle residents familiar with it note it's rarely out of service and report that anytime the machine is damaged, it is generally fixed within a few days. It's similarly reported that after the machine was broken into one time, it was restocked and working within a week. It was then modified so that it was anchored to a nearby wall with a heavy padlock attached in order to protect the sweet, syrupy nectar that's housed within it. That said, when the staff here at TodayIFoundOut went to go and check out the machine in June of 2018, while many people were still attempting to use the machine, including ourselves, it wouldn't dispense any soda, though it did happily collect all of our money. We could also hear the compressor working to keep the drinks inside cold, so it wasn't completely broken. It would seem whoever stocks the machine finally got wise to the problem, as the machine suddenly disappeared in late June. The owners of the machine did leave behind a taped note in its place stating that the machine went for a walk. On the machine's Facebook page, a message was posted stating, "Going for a walk, need to find myself, maybe take a shower even." And indeed it did, with the graffiti largely removed and the machine somewhat prettied up before being put back. Fascinatingly, despite all of this and the fact that the machine is evidently being restocked on a fairly consistent basis given how frequently it is typically used because of its tourist attraction status, it's unclear who actually owns and operates this machine. A common hypothesis is that the machine is owned and operated by the owners of Broadway Locksmith, which the machine is housed immediately outside of. Supporting this idea is the fact that the machine draws power from Broadway Locksmith and that the heavy padlock keeping it secure was seemingly bought from that store. However, if Broadway Locksmith is responsible for stocking the machine, they have made a commendable effort to convince people otherwise. In addition to flatly denying that they have anything to do with it, both the owner of Broadway Locksmith and random employees have stuck to the exact same story over the years while being grilled by everyone from USA Today to Vice. They claim that they don't know who restocks the machine and that they've never seen anyone open it to put something inside it or collect the money that it contains. They do, however, claim that the machine has been there for a couple of decades, which is more or less corroborated by local residents, give or take a few years, depending on who you talk to. Alright, so at this point in the story, you might have found yourself thinking, well, yeah, I mean, but surely the city knows who owns and operates this machine because whoever owns it must have some sort of permit, right? Well, Jessica Lee of the Seattle Times had that exact same thought, and she reached out to city officials about the matter in an attempt to discern once and for all who actually owned and operated the machine. According to Lee, a spokeswoman for the city eventually got back to her and explained that for some reason the city didn't have any records pertaining to the machine in question. Unsurprisingly, given the near total lack of concrete information we actually know about the machine, Seattle residents have naturally come to the conclusion that the machine might actually be haunted. No doubt the machine will soon have its own show on the History Channel, with time-traveling aliens being the most likely maintainers of the device. But for now, despite all the hoopla about it and the surprisingly popular tourist attraction that it has become, there exists a more mundane explanation. While most locals living nearby likewise report never seeing anyone stocking the machine, a few have come out and stated that they've seen an unmarked white van pull up in the middle of the night with the driver stocking it. Twitter user Sarah Hamilton, at SAE of Doom, even once managed to snap a picture of a man and a woman stocking the machine in broad daylight. Sadly, E.T. was nowhere in sight at the time. But even with that picture, nobody has yet identified the couple shown in it. And that seems to be the way that everyone wants it. If someone were to actually resolve the mystery, which presumably would be pretty easy with a hidden camera and some moderately good research skills, it would kind of ruin the fun of the thing once and for all, and the famous attraction would cease to be anything more than an old vending machine that occasionally eats your money and spits out random flavors that were probably discontinued or aren't super popular for a reason. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, hit that thumbs up button below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, all of that good stuff. We make new videos every day of the week. For more from me, I've got another channel called Top 10s. You can go check that out as well if you want. There is a link in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching.